Adaptations. Everybody's favorite book seems to be getting adapted lately. Shatter Me, Boys of Tallman, Cruel. That is not getting adapted. That is one of my favorite books, but it's not getting adapted, guys. Um, Better than the movies, and even people's least favorite book of all time, Haunting Adeline. Obviously, this mass production of the TV adaptations for books is not very good for the book space. Um, and we can see that already with shows like Heated Rivalry, Off Campus. People are literally saying, oh, they're just trying to reheat Heated Rivalry's nachos about Off Campus, a book series which has been around almost as long, if not definitely longer than Heated Rivalry. Like, Elle Kennedy has been writing hockey rom-coms like that for over 10 years, yet people are just seeing this new product of, oh, it's just a straight version of Heated Rivalry, which I hate to be that person. It's really not. It's not. But that's not exactly an issue. That's not the main core issue. Yes, people are forgetting the roots of these books where they come from the book originally, for sure. Totally. Like, I totally get it, guys. Originally, most things were books. Like, frickin' the MCU. Those were originally comics, not books. But you still get the issue, don't you? Like, most people associate MCU with the MCU, not the MCU. See what I did there? They're the exact same, just one's cinematic and one's comic. So, when we get down to it, the issue is that we're going to be adaptating all these things and people are just going to forget about the books. Which, in a society that's already not reading enough, this is going to aid to a lot of issues, specifically the literacy crisis. I brought it up. I went there, guys. The literacy crisis is kind of a big deal. I say kind of, but it's like really a big deal. Because literally, it's just people who are functionally illiterate or genuinely just illiterate, and they're just in our everyday society. They don't read. They haven't read a book since kindergarten. Oh my gosh, that's not a flex. Like, oh, I haven't read a book since middle school when I had to. It's not a flex, guys. I promise you that. So, because with they're already not reading enough, and now that all these books that are so good and worth the time to read, if they're adapted into a TV show, people are just going to say, why read it if I can just watch it? Well, the issue there is that now people are going to stop reading because they don't have to. Like, if I'm telling you, oh, better than the movies is literally better than the movie, you're going to be like, oh, well, I just watched the movie and it was good. Guys, like, that passion that makes it so unique and good is missing. Like, I don't know about you guys, if you haven't read, if I forget which Shatter Me book, but it's the one where, spoiler, they break up, like, Juliet and Warner break up after she finds out about her family. Those pages where it's just the ... and Warner's just, like, breaking down. How do you do that in a TV show? Spoiler warning, I really don't think you can. I don't think you can. And then, obviously, like, you can do something like it, it's just never gonna have that same exact amount of passion. Like, I will always remember the first time I read that, and I was, like, confused at first, but then after rereading it and, like, understanding the whole series as a whole, and that they were always meant to be together no matter how many times they reset the story, it starts to build that up that, like, oh, I understand that. And it's the the drama of just the ... That's just like, oh, you know? Because, like, if I'm gonna watch that on TV, I'm just gonna be, like, seeing some guy. They might not even, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that makes any sense. Like, obviously, you can do it. It's just I feel like a lot of these adaptations, they don't take the time to care. They're just seeing, oh, this is a very popular series. We're gonna adaptate it because we know the fans will watch it, and we're gonna get money from that. And also, people who've wanted to read it but they actually don't like reading, they're also gonna watch it because they're gonna hear all this like talk about it, and this is gonna make us money. Money, 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 money.
How bad can I possibly
Society is
be?
greedy.
There's a principle in business.
That's the way the world works.
And everybody knows it's sound. It says the people with the money. People with the money. Make this ever-loving world go round. So I'm bigger in my company, I'm bigger in my factory, I'm bigger in my corporate sign. Everybody out there, you take care of yours. I'll take care of mine.
Okay, guys. Like, literally, you just can't get the passion, the emotion that you feel, especially because the adaptation, they're gonna skip out on scenes that build up the emotion. Like, Finding 13, that's way too graphic for a TV show. I don't know how they're gonna make that a TV show. It is so graphic and violent and sad, and every single part of that book makes it so sad when you read the last 3 words, him or us. When you start the next book and it starts in the middle of the him or us scene, that's what makes it sad, is that you understand all that buildup. You've been there for everything. Every single one of those scenes, pivotal. Now, Shannon's character, pivotal. Making her a singer, her being shy was pivotal, so now that she's a singer, what are we doing? What are we doing, guys? Because, like, literally, doesn't make any sense for her to be a singer. That's Katie's thing. I'm not even kidding. I love Shannon. I love Shannon, girl. I love Shannon. That's not Shannon. I love Shannon. Okay? She's not a singer. She is a little girl growing up in poverty in an abusive home who's super shy, just kind of hates life, has openly admitted she kind of wants to die. Not a freaking singer, guys. Okay? In my personal opinion. Also, guys, in case you care what I'm drinking sorbet au citron. AKA lemon sorbet cove. It's pretty good, guys. In case you cared. Also, in case you cared, sorry, I have to take a break to just talk about this because I'm so happy about this. I finally finished my freaking collection of Ali Hazelwood books. I have all her published novels right now. I don't have Toucan Play, like, that novella world. I have the novella collection. Just don't have the specific singular novellas because I borrowed that one from the library. Back to the topic at hand. Like, I firm hater of Haunting Adeline. I think it's disgusting, the things that they do and romanticize in that book. Disgusting. So then taking that book and making it a freaking TV show. Are you kidding me right now? The amount of popularity that this book has gotten. And people are just gonna watch that and they're gonna get twisted ideas in their head. Just like when you read the book, people get twisted ideas in their head. I promise you, I'm also a firm believer that smut is not necessarily wrong or inherently bad. I think having 1 or 2 scenes, not that bad. But not only did they have, probably, I haven't read it myself, more than 1 or 2 scenes, they were violent, non-consensual, and it's being romanticized. That's disgusting. And that's too graphic for TV. But they're putting it on TV. They're making it a graphic novel. Disgusting. If you ask me, if you ask most people with common sense. It's as easy squeezy lemon peasy to understand, to have good human morals, that there are some things you shouldn't adaptate because they're disgusting to watch. Like, most people, Biden 13 is too much for them. And, okay, I'm taking a total 180 here. First, we're talking about, like, why you shouldn't be romanticizing rape. Now we're talking about how you shouldn't make a TV show that's like Shameless. Most people can't watch that. And that's like Binding 13-esque, Boys of Tommen-esque. Except Boys of Tommen on like I've never watched Shameless either, guys. Okay, so I feel kind of bad because like I'm kind of just talking about stuff I don't really know. My friend watched Shameless. She had to stop watching it. It was kind of disturbing. I was able to get through all of Boys of Tommen without being too thoroughly disturbed or like. But if I was to watch that, I'm just thinking the amount I cried and screamed and was grossed out when I was reading it, I can just imagine it being so much worse. It's like if I'm seeing it actually like happen in front of me. Because I see things in my head when I read, but I'm not seeing an actual real humans acting this out. You think about all the people that are so touched and like feel so like seen and understood through the characters in Boys of Tommen. I totally get it. I really do see myself and from at least what we know, Katie and mostly also Patrick, I feel so seen and heard. That's like a beautiful thing that Chloe Walsh has been able to like build. And that internal monologue is what makes people be able to resonate so hard because a lot of people think, oh, everyone's just seeing my actions. They don't understand what's going in my head. But when you're reading a book like that, you really see what's going on in these characters' heads, and so you really understand exactly where they're coming from, and you really are able to say, yeah, that's like exactly like me. I'm going through that exact same thing. So, when you take that and you have to make it digestible for a TV show, that for your first season, which is the first two books, which are over 1,000 pages long together, you make it 8 episodes long, which typically for a show on Prime, it'll be 45 minutes at most for an episode. So that's gonna be like a little under 8 hours, quite a bit under 8 hours actually, but you know. So you're cramming 1,000 pages, 1,000 plus pages into under 8 hours. People are going to be slightly, most definitely disappointed because they're not going to feel that same representation because they're not getting that full internal monologue. They're also going to be, it's going to be dumbed down. There's going to be things missing, parts out. It's going to be changed, so it's just not going to feel like the same Boys of Tommen that we know and love. And we're all just going to, it's just going to feel different. I feel like every single time, like the concept of having a TV show of a book, great. The actual execution of it, horrible. Every single time. People are always disappointed, time and time again. So, great. Now we're talking about why I don't even know. I've talked about so much stuff, I don't even know where I'm at. So, that's great. Yeah. But like no, what I'm saying is you really get rid of so much of that just raw passion and what made the book so good. People also I feel like get their hopes up. They're like, "Oh, this one's gonna be different. This one's gonna be different than every other adaptation I've already seen." But then it's not different because there's only so much you can really do with a book compared to real people. Like for the fantasy ones, like Shatter Me, there's gonna be aspects that people are gonna be like, "This feels kind of not it," because it's not the book. You can't do the exact same thing, so people feel kind of let down. The show feels dumbed down. It just feels watered down, bad, disappointing, and then people complain about it. And also, there's this thing that people say. If you want to make a show so similar to this, yet you're going to make it so different, make your own goddamn show. I fully agree. I do understand, like, that, like, you probably would have to change more things. Yeah, sure. Saying, "Oh, I wanna make a show that's like Boys of Tommen, but a TV show." and then you're going to make the main character a singer and change this and change that and pick and choose, blah, 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 blah. You're not making the Boys of Tom and show, you're making your show. You're basically making fan fiction. Like, it's literally just like a fanfic TV show. Wow, oh my god. What would be better than to keep the original, like, title and name and all that to it is to say, like, "Oh, this is the Irish TV show." Just give me a stupid name. I don't know, whatever name you want. "This is Sam and Henley. They are our main characters." I know those aren't Irish names, but, like, you get the point. And then, like, changing it and saying, like, yeah, she can still come from an abusive home, he can still come from a rich family, but maybe instead of playing rugby, he does this, and then she does this, and then change that and that, and then you're keeping the core, but you're changing it enough that unless you come out and say, "Yeah, this was heavily inspired by blah, blah, blah," people aren't really gonna recognize, then you're not getting that backlash, and the fans aren't disappointed when it's not exactly like the book. One thing I do like is that adaptations have gone from being movies to more so being shows. I like that because in a show, like I said, you can make a show like 45 minutes long on average for people to still like be captivated by it the whole time. And like Boys of Tommen, they're doing 8 45 minutes, which I don't think that's enough for the Boys of Tommen TV show. Maybe just making them longer seasons. That's like a really good way to adaptate it because you can put in so much more detail. Whereas if you're stuck with like the longest you can do for a movie is 2 hours ish before people are like, oh, I hate like this is so long, too long. Right? So if you're doing a movie, you can only fit in 2 hours of content, whereas if you're doing a show with 45-minute episodes, say you have 8 episodes, like I said, you're getting just a little, maybe a lot under 8 hours. So you're getting almost 4 times the amount of content like in that show than you are in a movie. So I'm really glad that we started doing the show adaptations more than movie adaptations. In my head, I think if you're gonna adaptate something, you want to keep it as true to the story as possible. Like Heated Rivalry, I didn't watch the show, but I had seen clips online before I read the books, and I was literally finding word for word quotes in the books that were direct, and it was like perfect. Like the whole loon scene, I remember reading that and being like, literally, this feels like I'm reading the script. Like I have the script in my hands. Perfect adaptation. So like when I go in with an expectation of, oh my gosh, there's this book I love, they've made it a TV show. I'm expecting that book. But when I don't get that book, I'm a little disappointed and I'm not gonna like the show, so I'm gonna quit halfway through. Just like I did with Off Campus. Readers are never happy with adaptations, and I know I've said that before, but the thing that they're always pissed about is the casting. They're like, oh, this character's not hot enough. Like I know for the Wes Bennett casting that came out the other day, everyone's like, oh, I love the Liz casting. Like literally she was the fan cast, okay? But the Wes casting is Cam Cameron from The Summer I Turned Pretty. And everyone's like, I hate this casting. They're being so rude to him about it. And it's like, guys, the amount of toxicity that this is bringing to the fandom is crazy. Like, they're so toxic. Or like the Boys of Tommen actors, everyone's like death threats, just shitting on them. Like, they're teenagers. You cannot like a who they chose. You can be like, that's really not how I pictured them in my head. Like, I'm really sad that Shannon doesn't have blue eyes because that was like a key point of her story. You can say that. You can have criticism. You are allowed to form thoughts and opinions on anything that exists. But what you're not allowed to do is to be toxic like that and make fun of people and bully them for just essentially just doing their job. That's like a whole thing that I'm like super mad about because I think that to the extremes that people have on either side said, guys, we need to not complain about casting at all. And the people that are like complaining about it and making fun of people, you're allowed to think, oh, I'm not really exactly happy with this casting, but that doesn't mean I'm like going to be mean about the casting. I just think it's personally not my favorite casting. You can be like, yeah, it's not exactly book accurate, and it's a little frustrating because, like, maybe this quote really stuck out with me, or like, I really like this part, but don't attack that person because of things they can't physically change. And like, the acting and the story is what really matters. Casting for adaptations, it always brings toxicity to the fandom and it divides the fandom, splits it up. And everyone's mad and everyone's having blah 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 and everyone's fighting. There has been so much discourse over the Boys of Tommen casting. It's crazy. Like people are genuinely fighting so much over this. It's crazy. And it's like then authors feel dumb because they're like, oh, I thought this was a really good cast. Like they were really good, but I guess everyone hates it and they feel pressure and it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. The cast, literally just the cast, whole big thing. for adaptations that people are honestly always more disappointed about for some reason. The cast is like bottom tier concern. There's someone's looks that are key to the story. You're not making Rapunzel have short hair. She has to have long hair, okay? You're not gonna make Snow White be not super duper pale like snow. You're not gonna make Aurora not Scottish. Wait, that's not Aurora, that's Merida. You're not making Merida not Scottish. I feel like these are bad. Don't kill me for these. I feel like these are bad, like bad analogies trying to describe why you would not change the casting. But like, unless a character's looks are a key point to their story, how the actor looks is pretty bottom tier. A top tier problem would probably be like, oh, so actually they're making Teddy Lynch the nicest guy ever. And yeah, that would be a big tier problem. Because now it's not even Boys of Tommen. And it's not even, well, maybe it could be about Boys of Tommen for the other books, but it's definitely not Binding 13. That was like the whole issue in Binding 13 and Redeeming 6 and Saving 6 and Keeping 13 is Shannon's dad was a jerk face, horrible person. Jerk is not even a strong enough word. Basically, to recap, because I know I've said a lot and I've said it fast and all that. Basically, the reason why people don't like adaptations is because they are seriously aiding with the literacy crisis. They're taking away the reason to read, which I guess is the same point as point A. They are ruining casting, and that's splitting up fandoms, making people toxic. It's like erasing like the story, the original story, and changing the plot and just ruining it. And yeah, it's not getting that passion and that everyone feels when they first read it. So that's why people actually have this issue with the mass production of adaptations for books. And yeah. I watched the Spider-Man movie the other day. So freaking good. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. I think it's my second favorite Spider-Man. I really like Andrew Garfield's now in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I really like that one. Might be better than Brand New Day by a little, but Brand New Day is so good. If you haven't seen it yet, you actually need to see it. Like, it's just gold. I've seen it twice already. So good. So good, guys. So good. So good. So good. That's my opinion on book adaptations and shows and just things that don't necessarily need to happen, but happen a lot because people are just lazy and they want quick cash and they know there's going to be a fandom. So there's already going to be an audience. Sat. Blah, blah, blah. Aren't they also making a Powerless adaptation? Like, I think they might be. I've heard that they're making a Powerless adaptation and an Inheritance Games adaptation. I would be super excited for an. Would I be super excited for an Inheritance Games adaptation? Maybe. I would be maybe excited about an Inheritance Games adaptation because I do like a good Inheritance game. I like Inheritance games. I do actually really like Inheritance games. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Peace.